This is NBC Nightly News, Tuesday, October 23rd. Reported by John Chancellor with David Brinkley's Journal.
Good evening on another extraordinary day. President Nixon, in a startling reversal, has changed his position on the secret White House tapes, has abandoned his offer of a compromise summary, and will obey a court order which says he must give the tapes to Judge John Sirica. Judge Sirica will then privately determine if the tapes have evidence of criminal actions. The president's decision came as a total surprise following a series of significant developments. The president's compromise arrangement with the Senate Watergate Committee was coming unstuck. Public opinion was swinging against his position. Judge Sirica this morning was taking a tough stand in his courtroom. Former Attorney General Elliot Richardson was making a strong defense of the dismissed special prosecutor Archibald Cox. And in the House of Representatives, for the first time in more than 100 years, an inquiry into presidential impeachment was begun. It was after these things happened that the president capitulated. Here's Carl Stern with more on this remarkable day.
Members of the former special prosecutor's staff arrived unsure what role they would play. However, all the talking was done by the determined Chief Judge John Sirica. Sirica indicated as far as he was concerned, the grand jury would still get what it needed. He called in the grand jurors to tell them you remain operative. It is still your oath to diligently, fully, and completely inquire into all offenses. The former special prosecutors watched Sirica tell the grand jurors they would not be dismissed until their work was completed. 4 hours later, the president's lawyers arrived and announced his capitulation. Professor Charles Allen Wright of the University of Texas said the president would comply in all respects with the court decisions. Judge Sirica, who read aloud what the decisions required, then asked when the White House would deliver the tapes. Professor Wright said it would require some time, but he promised to move expeditiously. He said events had compelled the president to change his mind.
I've just informed Judge Sirica that President Nixon will comply in all respects with the order of this court as modified by the Court of Appeals. The president on Friday made what he thought, what Attorney General Richardson thought, what I thought, was a very reasonable proposal to accommodate the spirit of the court's order with the least intrusion of presidential confidentiality and bring a constitutional crisis to an end. It was obvious that the constitutional crisis was not over, that even if, as I hope he would have, Judge Sirica had accepted the presentation that we had planned to make as satisfactory compliance, there would have been those who would have said that the president is defying the law. This president does not defy the law.
The sudden turn of events surprised even the court. Yesterday, the White House sent a response to the judge outlining the president's original position. But this afternoon, Professor Wright asked that it be considered withdrawn, the lawyer's way of declaring it inoperative.
Carl, let me ask you some questions. Has the president brought himself some time by his actions today?
I think it's fair to say that what the president has done is to withdraw to live to fight another day, at least politically.
Do you think that the presentation of these 9 secret tapes will go smoothly now that this has been arranged?
The Court of Appeals decision still permits the president to withhold portions of the tapes that pertain to national defense or foreign relations, and for the most part, the court will have to assume that he's doing so honestly. His lawyers can also fight to keep out other matters considered irrelevant or prejudicial or which are not yet under subpoena, so there's plenty of room there for the White House to maneuver.
Carl, some people are saying that by firing Cox, the president has set up a situation where the defendant, who is the president, has been able to fire the prosecutor. Now that Cox is gone, do you think the Justice Department will pursue this investigation as vigorously as Cox?
The outlook of the Justice Department is brighter than it seems. Acting Attorney General Robert Bork called in some of Archibald Cox's former staff members yesterday to keep them on the case. And don't forget that Assistant Attorney General Henry Peterson wants to vindicate his operation this time, and so he really has the president hostage. The president can't afford to have Peterson quit now, complaining that the White House